Okay. So what I figured that we would do is set space, put ourselves in the circle, and then go around and tell what's going on with each of us. So let's all be present in our bodies. Let your breath move in and out, gently, in and out. This is a time to let your mind slow down, relax, let your mind reach towards stillness. This moment is all that's important. It has everything here for your safety, for your support, for your connections, for being respected. You are valued and loved right here. We gather in a sacred space, a space we own. It's here exclusively for us, for our design, our work, our stewardship. Everything else is excluded and removed. We call for the teams holding the six-fold cocoon, and we place ourselves, our families, our homes, our lands, and all we are connected to in love in that six-fold cocoon energy. We come here today well prepared to work with our own guides, teachers, and casual teams. We are independent in female bodysuits coming together with the intention to do the work in the web, the net of all good. We give a thanksgiving and a greeting to each other for this time together and to those working with us from beyond time and space. And we declare this space prepared for that work, those communities, that outcome. And so our circle is designed and set and open, and so it is. So let's place ourselves in the circle. Where you are, any people or issues you'd like to bring, and a quality you'd like to bring to the circle today. And I'll start. I want to bring in 23 people. I want to bring in that old sick cat. 3 personal situations. 2 global situations. And I'd like to bring the quality of empowerment. Angelique?
Thank you, Arleigh, for your beautiful opening prayers. It was really beautiful. Thank you so much. And yeah, hello from the Netherlands. Other side of the sea. It's different quality of weather, totally different. No snow, no sun. Well, rain sometimes, but pretty cold, really. And dark yet because it's night. So it's really funny to hear you talking about the new day. So my word is new beginnings. And I put into the circle 25 people and 3 personal situations and many, many global situations, especially for our ancestors and our ancestors of future times. Thank you. And I go to Lynn.
Well, I'm here in the Marina District of Des Moines. It's cold. There was a little snow just on the car window this morning. What's really I've been thinking about a lot is an article I read in the last few days. It was about gun violence, but taking a different angle and saying one of the things that no one is looking at when they're looking at causes and how to address it is that connection between gun violence and misogyny. And it was, I don't want to say fascinating, doesn't seem like the right word, but it was, I never thought of it from that angle either, but it really tied together some of the different shootings and some of the things going on in the life of the shooter, and also then in just this sort of macho male situation, and saying, we need to look at this. We need to look at the mistreatment of women and the devaluing of women, and all the way back to even the beginning of our country, where women were not really included in any of the Constitution, and it was, we didn't have a right to vote, et cetera, and it's gone on from there. So that's really, I've been thinking a lot about that. That's kind of what I bring as my presence today. And so I think the value I bring today is something else that's been with me, and I'm going to bring the value of forgiveness. And I will call on Alexandra.
Hello. I am Alexandra. This is my cat Eclipse in my lap. I live in the heart of North Carolina near Sanford. I've also been the spread of not just misogyny, but race prejudice and anti-Semitism. And it almost seems like we're going backwards. And I'm trying to figure out what that's all about. Maybe we can do some meditation around what that is all about. To me, the news is worse than it's ever been before. And as far as bringing into the circle, I guess I'm always going to bring about healing, because I need healing for myself. I feel like we need healing for the world and for the planet. I have about 33 people in my big family I would like to bring into the circle, and 2 life situations. And I guess I'll go with Sue.
Thank you, Alexandra. I'm Sue from sunny, rainy, snowy Smoky Point. The sun is shining right now. Strange day. I'm bringing in 24 people, 1 world situation, 1 personal situation, and I'm bringing in the power of spiritual love and light. And I'll call on Evie. Hi, Evie here in Anacortes. And I'd like to bring in 5 people. And I'd like to bring in the domestic and international situations involving inadequate food and water. And I'd like to bring in the quality of kindness and kindness related to the other. And on to Sharon.
Okay, Sharon Rodney Maynard here, Woodby Island, Washington. Yes, it's cold and sunny. I want to bring in 34 individuals. In addition to adults who are really trapped in trauma and addiction and yet working really hard to unweave that. I want to bring them into the circle, specifically as surrogates. 3 world situations. The call for a team with even greater instant removal and healing possibilities, and the value of the depth of clarity and authority voice. And I think we're back to you, Arleigh.
So we ask that all those named and unnamed who have been brought to our circle today be held in healing and love, that they be given what they need to return to wholeness and health. We ask that entities of light, wisdom, integrity, and peace work to resolve the issues, global and personal, in the very best way, leading to all good. So we know what Lynn is thinking about misogyny. Something that I was just reading about this morning that I've been thinking about is pornography being used as a weapon, weaponized pornography. And specifically, I was reading about one particular creative designer who has taken to bringing pornography into boardrooms and making pornographic comments to subordinates, people on the creative and design team, as a way of shocking and maintaining power over. And no one has called this person out on this. And it's turning out that this isn't all that unusual. And of course, this is all directed mainly at women again. So weaponized pornography and what that means and how it's being allowed is something that was just introduced to me today and that I'm thinking about. So I am done. Anyone else?
Yes. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of what's happening here in this very tiny country. I don't think so. I'm not sure about that, but it's here within media land, like for television, people who work for television, people who work for radio, broadcasting, etc., etc. But also in programs on television, like variety programs, there's a lot to do about how you call that? Pornographic things, but also violation against women, and everything is in the media now. And there are people who are resigned and who have taken resign. There are programs which are not being broadcasted anymore because of that, because many people also people of people who are playing in these games, who are invited to play in the games of the program, are talking, like the voice of Holland, for instance. You know, there's the voice of Australia, I guess. There's the voice of, you know, yeah, these kind of things. And many people who are participating as people who wants to show their voice and to be winners in these competitions have put on their complaints, and this has been a really, really big issue in the Netherlands. It's everyday news. Well, I don't watch the news anymore and I don't read papers anymore, but it's all around. It's like, you know, if this is the most important thing ever, but it's a global thing. As I hear you also sharing this again and again and again, it's about women, mainly women who are suppressed, but also men and young men who are suppressed by people who want to celebrate their pornographic issues, you know, and it's, yeah. This is what I love to adjust to your statement. Thank you.
What I'm aware of is how much what has come up in our Mondays and our Thursday circles. We mentioned it last Thursday, how we seem to be building, and there's a real link between what happens on Monday, what happens on Thursday, great, very powerful. And what I haven't contributed is that I'm being asked to write another book, if you will. It's like things are happening that we are a part of. When I say we are a part of, those who are playing on this, what I call the galactic landscape, we see things differently, we act differently when we know that the escalation out there in the world of the outsiders' forms are as it needs to be, because we haven't gotten rid of them. They will continue to get bigger than they were 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The past will show up again, because that is the purpose of us being here, is to see it, to name it, to call in those teams who can eliminate it for all time, from all space, etc. And we're making great progress, but we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. But there's such a shift that has happened that it's like no longer we're alone in this. It's almost like, do you realize that we are part of a movement? And do you realize you are part of a movement with the insight that the movement doesn't have yet? For example, there is a toy company, I use the term lightly, who did a huge holiday spread, and they posed children with plush animals and dominatrix all over the stuffed animals. And in the same picture on the desk was the Supreme Court decision about free speech, which is opening the door to making pedophilia normal, or pornography normal. So here, but someone who was savvy, a young woman who was savvy because of marketing, when she saw it, she instantly called the alarm. She instantly saw it was outsider. She didn't know outsider forming to make children accepting of bondage, saying to adults, we're making progress, all in this campaign that most people just fluffed it off. And she pointed out, because she's in marketing, this does not happen. without absolute looking it over, making sure it's exactly what they want it to be, the markings on the walls, the court order on the desk, the children embracing stuffed animals in bondage gear. And she called the whistle on it. And it's going around the TikTok world and the Twitter world to whatever degree Twitter can. And I went, this is an example of what we are here to do as women. When we see it, we name it, we don't let go of it, we call it out, and how many other women then will be with those who are putting their lives on the line, their careers on the line, to say this is evil. That's what we're here to do. And we're not finished yet, you know? So I'm kind of with that this morning, thinking we're making great progress, really great progress. And will this be the moment that the movement comes together? Because we cannot do it alone. So just glad to be with you, because I know you're up there marching, you're holding the line.
Is this a mainstream toy company or a niche toy company? I haven't heard of this. I mean, like Mattel or some.
You're muted, Sharon. You're muted.
It's a company out of California with a lot of celebrities behind it, and it's Balenciaga or something. I'll get the name for you and put it in the chat. It's huge.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to bring to the circle that's of special concern?
So I read this morning, which I try not to do, but what I read was that the Ukraine forces are upset because they were promised a free pass to win the war. And that that Trump had literally promised that Afghanistan would be handed over, that Ukraine would be handed over, that the United States would be handed over, that there'd been an offer made and accepted. And some of the Republicans are waking up to it, and some of them are still blinded. And so to me, this is just my verbiage. There's more and more transparency. This is good. No matter how evil it is, it has to become public knowledge and information. And what I'm seeing is that it's not just an ambition and it's not just a goal, it's an addiction. And the addiction has blocked out all reason and wisdom and ability to hear anything other than what that person's addicted to. And so like Trump, he's addicted to power and money. And it doesn't have to be real power. He just has to be fed enough that he believes he's the hand of God. And because he's so addicted, he's really easy to control. However, it's the wrong people controlling him. So what I'm seeing is that, so what's behind addiction? And it is a void. It is an emptiness. It is a lack of anything of a spiritual nature. To be completely engulfed in addiction, there's no feeling of safety and there's no feeling of being loved or accepted. So again, it's a human problem, but there's a spiritual solution. This is just my language. This is just my simplicity. I have to put it simple or I get, I feel overwhelmed and I'm useless. So in my meditation, that's where I'm going, is that it's like a cancer, and it's not that it's spreading all over, it's that it's picking up more verbal people who want to shout their affiliation with white supremacy. And the natural law is that, what is that natural law? About corruption and power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you have a really high tower based on lies and deceit, there's nothing to sustain it in it. At some point, it'll fall in on itself, implode. So that's my focus in my meditation today, is that it just plain implodes. Yep, that's it.
There is only some positive thing which I'd like to share, and that is that I listened to an amazing interview with Neil Young last weekend, and he has a new not a CD but a vinyl, I don't know how you call it in English, but and it's called World Record. And he is singing to Mother Earth, speaking to her and really connecting with her. And it's amazing, really. So that's the most positive output. And he is also an advocate for and for the environment of Mother Earth and everything, and what we do with the earth. And it's really worth listening to it. So I will send the link to Sharon. Thank you.
Just in case anyone didn't know, this Balenciaga company that's putting out these toys is deeply associated. The person, the designer, who seems to be the leader in introducing pornography as a weapon into the boardroom. So there's a definite link there. Also, I'd like to make the comment that when you see photos of these guys who have the AK-47 across their chest, the 9-inch knife on their hip, 3 revolvers of one sort or another, that the common term for it is weapons porn. So kind of like Lynn said, this is pornography, and the point of it all: intimidation, fear, power over.
I have a couple of comments. Arleigh, I don't know how to pronounce that designer you're talking about, but he is the one that Kim Kardashian recommends all the time. And I don't know if you remember when she came to the Academy Awards or something a couple of years ago, she had on one of his outfits, and I swear she looked like a bat. Everything was totally black. She looked terrific. So people were calling on her today that she needs to denounce that designer. I don't know if she has. The other thing, I couldn't understand what you were saying, Sue, about this agreement that Trump made about Afghanistan and Ukraine and US. Who was he supposed to pass these countries over to?
Russia.
Oh. And then he got voted out. Is that why
Yeah,
Putin
but
went ahead and declared war on Ukraine.
well, he promises things he can't necessarily do, but it doesn't stop him from promising. And he promises when he gets back in Congress, when he gets reelected, or there's enough Republicans elected, that they will turn Congress into a yes machine for what he wants.
Mhm.
Doesn't it kind of make you wonder what he promised North Korea?
Mhm. Um,
Especially now that North Korea is supposed to have weapons that can reach the US.
Well, very few people are finally seeing what a phony Trump is, but I don't know if that's enough to keep him from being the candidate for the Republicans.
Okay, does anybody else have anything that they would like to bring into the circle at this point? To think about, to maybe journey on, to
I
work?
have a,
Go,
I have a
Lynn.
question that just came up to me. Just remembering that I got I don't know if it was a text or something this morning that's saying that the volcano that's been so active in Hawaii has finally now erupted or is spreading lava. And I'm wondering, is that a power that we can use? Or is that something or not? I mean, is the power of this created entity of Mother Earth a power that can be helpful in the work we're doing or not?
Ask, Lynn.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of it.
When you first said that, Lynn, that idea just made me smile and feel warm all over. So the feeling I got was a very positive, yes, this is for us.
Just the fact that it came to me just now, I hadn't thought about it, or it made me think, oh, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, does anybody else have any feelings about that they'd like to toss in?
I don't think you ignore any option. You know, if we're partnering here with Gaia, she can't speak to us necessarily in words. You know, sometimes if we sit and listen, she certainly can, but what's her action saying, what she's saying through the voices she has? And if we ignore that, if we don't pay attention, we may have lost an opportunity. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to journey? So turn off your camera if you wish. We're going to set the intention of going with our guides to that place we are called to hear or do or ask what we are called to do. And I will call you back in 10 minutes. If you will, please turn on your cameras when you come back. We'll give it a couple more seconds for Angelique to rejoin us.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Okay, deep breath, settle in. And who would like to share first?
Yeah, I start. This is what I received from my guide immediately before we even went into our journey. The Mother Earth speaks to us in many voices, in many tongues, in many ways. In these times, you are called to follow her example and speak up. You are requested to speak truth, to walk truth, and to live truth. To not pull back, but to step forward and be fearless and cautious at the same time. Listening, reading between the lines, and remember what has come to you in the dream time. Writing this down and read your received messages again. Repeating your rituals, very important. This is very important, like offering light to our future and past time ancestors, creating altars and songs. Dance and stay connected with the Mother Earth and with nature in all forms, with the 4 directions and honoring the waters and the fire. Thank you. Oh.
So, thank you, Angelique. I was imagining a tall tower imploding, and the vision was really quite magnificent. And I was getting excited until I heard, "Don't let that happen." So I paid attention to "don't let that happen." You don't understand the consequences, the ripple effect. So what do I do? And it said, you do the same thing you're being guided to do with people around you. You call in the ancient ones, the light workers, all the circles and groups, and you ask them to send out a blessing of forgiveness. Who has hurt you so much there is ice around your heart and your mind is closed, and all you have is an addiction? And it's sending out a heartfelt acceptance of their pain. And the same way spirit heals a bone, a broken bone, spirit can work on someone so far into addiction And I just need to support, hold space and support that there is a healing happening, and not to try and put it into any more words. And that felt really good. Thank you.
I took into the meditation the question about the volcano and that power, and what it immediately led me to visualize is what I call holy fire. The Reiki, the Usui Reiki that I teach is a holy fire Reiki, and the symbol being a flame. And this upgraded Reiki energy, the holy fire, is an energy of love, of deep, deep, deep love. And so that's where it took me to, was that the volcano and its lava and its fire being an energy of love that can cast out hate and darkness. And I just really sat there with the power of love. And the word I originally put into the circle today was forgiveness. And the power of forgiveness has that same, the power of forgiveness frees up the ability for love to do its work. So that's what came to me.
I also was taken straight to the volcano. Before I even got my camera off, I was like, and I saw the goddess of volcanoes. And then I was shown fire and ash, the burning and the creation. So we all know what burning does, but ash, volcano ash, is very fertile. Volcanic rock, we get zeolite. It's when Mount St. Helens blew and all that ash came down in the apple orchards in Western Washington, they had an incredible crop the next year. So this is destruction and creation together. So then the volcano shape became like an octopus shape. And I saw these tentacles going out, and the flame was running down the tentacles and going after the seeds of pornography, power over pornography, weapons. There was an overlay of weapons in that pornography too. So you have these branches of flames running out down to the seeds, the beginning of this. And then it all went whoosh together into one single point, the timeline collapsing, sent that off to be healed, off to its home, rather, to source. Any energy that was left was caught in a zeolite net and sent to cosmic compost, the entropy energy from this sort of a whoosh collapse off to source anything else that was still running. What was different, really different for me about this particular journey is that afterwards, I was drawn to draw little cartoony pictures of what happened. And I have no idea why or what for or what that's about. But But this was really powerful and really clear, and not at all where I thought that I was going today. And I am complete.
My message, which came at the very end of my meditation, was to work with our soul brothers to restore the rightful place of the feminine in all of our lives. And I'm reminded of the importance of the gender movement, where our young population is refusing to adhere to a particular label and to a stereotype of that label. And I think that's a way to neutralize the damage that has been applied to both the feminine and the masculine gender. But we have many soul brothers that are working with us on this part of the journey, and it's just overwhelmed by the media reports of the ugliness of what comes out. And we've got to support those that are supporting the recognition of the integration of the feminine, masculine, and whatever in all of our bodies and beings.
Where I was told was to work with these two individuals that have come to my attention who have been horrendously abused in this lifetime, and who are struggling without knowing anything about deeper work, just to support them totally anonymously. And that's what I did, was just to work on them as surrogates for that type of intentional, not just grooming, but then horrendous abuse, to eliminate that, from within our male, female, and humanity psyche. So that was where I went.
Alexandra, would you like to share?
I was just too scattered. I couldn't do the exercise.
Okay. Does anyone have any further comments that they would like to make about journeys that were taken, or would you like to ask questions or clarification, add something, bring up something new while we're in circle?
Just a suggestion, sometimes when we don't travel, or like when Alexandra feels like she was too scattered to participate, that there's a value added by our presence, and we often think it has to look a certain way. And it may very well be that Alexandra's scatteredness was perfect because she was in a place where she didn't need to identify what the scatteredness was, but that scatteredness brought to our circle didn't shatter the circle. We, in our various ways, picked it up to bring it into wholeness. And so I would suggest you, Alexandra, just in this moment before we close, give thanks that you were allowed to be a channel for scattered, so that scattered could be dealt with in this moment, and that you are complete with that contract. The scattered has been identified and done, and that you now can bring other things in and have other stabilities come into your life. Take what we did to solidify, breathe that in, and that be your takeaway. That's my suggestion.
Okay, if there's no further comments, then I would like to thank our cultural teams for being with us. Thank everyone for being here in the circle. I am so grateful and thankful for the work we do in these circles. And I would like to wish everyone health and abundance and to close the circle at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Arleigh. Thank you all for being here. Amazing. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlie. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.